Hey guys, coming back with another video. Today we're going to be planting potatoes. We're going to use the wire cage method. What we're going to go over today is the kind of cage, the size of wire I use, the materials I use, the tools. We're going to go over some of the pros and cons of doing it this way. We're actually going to have a little bit of a challenge. I'm actually going to plant 3 different kinds of potatoes. I want to see if one does better than the other. So I picked, 3 what I think are 2 popular brands, and one I'm just not for sure about. So if you have never grown potatoes in a wire cage, this video I really think will help you. Sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Now, folklore of gardening says you should plant potatoes on Good Friday. I did a little bit of research because to me it doesn't make sense, and I came up maybe with one reason that that might have got started. Okay, so at the end of the video I'm going to share that with you. So let's get into it. First thing, wire cage. If you've never bought fencing or anything before, this is a 2x4 fence. Okay, it's 2 inches wide and 4 inches long. And now I did this method last year. I did it a little different. It was not nearly as professional as what I'm hoping to do this year. It was really thrown together at the last minute. But this cage worked good, because when you plant your potatoes in here, the potato plant itself is going to come out the sides. So you want something big enough where that can come out. I really wouldn't recommend using like a chicken wire. I can't say that it won't work, but I used this and it worked pretty good last year. Okay, so some of the other materials we're going to have, I went and I bought some of the cheapest black dirt. They actually call it garden soil that I could find. I have some of my compost that has been in the videos and everything, so we're going to get to use some of that. And I got a bale of hay. Now the potatoes I'm going to use, I've got Yukon Golds, and I'm kind of hit and miss with Yukon Golds in my garden when I plant them in the ground and stuff. So I'm really going to be interested to see if a Yukon Gold grows better in a wire cage. I've got some Kennebecs, which is probably the most popular potato. They're just a good all-around potato. You can cook them just about any way you can think of, and they taste really good. Now the third one, my dad told me to never plant these. You always use a certified seed potato. Store-bought potatoes. Just regular. I bought these. I had no intentions of planting them when I bought them, but that was a pretty big bag, and I'm just going to use some of them. I just am curious to see. I've watched a couple other videos on it, and I didn't like that I don't think they used enough of them. I'll explain what I'm saying. One person just planted 1 seed potato and 1 store-bought potato. The other person just used like a 5-gallon bucket. Not that the videos weren't good, but I want a little more data material. So I'm going to fill one of these up with store-bought potatoes, okay? And so we're going to check them. I want to see if one has bigger potatoes, one has more yields, if there's any difference, if they grow at all. So let's get into it. We're going to go step by step how to plant these potatoes, okay? First thing I'm going to do, I want to take a layer of hay, and I'm just going to, again, don't obsess. Don't worry. If you've never done this before, you can do it. Don't worry about how much you're putting in. Is too much of this, not enough of that. Don't obsess, just do, okay? So now I'm going to grab me some compost. I just want to kind of spread it around. Just something like that. And I'm going to just kind of flatten it out a little bit. And just get a good layer of it. That's all there is. There's nothing to it. Now, get me some dirt. I'm just going to spread it around. And I just want to cover up that compost. And maybe just a little more. Okay. And that's it. Now, I didn't cut these potatoes. I didn't try to get them to sprout. I just bought them. I'm going to make another video. Probably the easiest, fastest way to plant potatoes there is. And I might cut some of them. But for this video here, especially because I kind of want everything the same, just to see, I'm using the same dirt, same everything. I just want to see how it turns out. So I'm not going to cut them or do anything that might change the outcome. But I will show you this. Let's get a good one here. Okay, now some of these have already started sprouting. Okay, so like this right here, this is a sprout. You don't have to plant a whole potato. You can cut these and you don't have to buy as many. But what you want these eyes, you want two or three on each piece that you cut. Like this here is probably going to become an eye. This is probably going to become an eye. So when you do that, if you're going to cut them, and I'll probably do that in that next video, I'm going to have, you know, at least a couple eyes on each piece, okay? So, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these right there in the ground. And I do put the sprouts down. I don't know. Maybe I should put them up. A lot of times I just put them in there. I don't even think about it. But you do want to put them around the edge. You don't want to put any in the middle, because like I say, these are going to grow out, so you want them towards the edge. Okay, so these are Yukon Golds. Like I say, I don't have a lot of luck with them, it seems like, but we're going to give them a shot. And I bought plenty of potatoes, so I'm not concerned with cutting them. All right. So there's 5 potatoes in there. I wouldn't put any more than that. It just depends on the size of your cage. You can make them as big or as small as you want. You can make them as tall as you want. This is just something that I had from another project, so I used it. I'm going to grab some more hay, and I'm just going to put it right over the top. And then I'm going to just start over. And that's all there is to it. So, what are some of the pros and cons of doing it this way? One, cost. If you don't have fence, if you don't have compost, I had to buy dirt, I have to buy hay. Now I do have some farm animals, so I had this stuff. The only thing I really bought was the dirt. And I just wanted it to be a fair test, so that was the main reason why I bought that. if you had to buy all this, if you had to buy a bale of hay, because I'm going to go through probably a couple bales of hay by the time I get all 3 of them planted. You know, you're looking at anywhere from $5 to $7 for a bale of hay. If you don't have the compost, you have to buy the compost. You're going to need a shovel, and you're going to need like a little spade or something to, you know, not necessarily, but I got like a little pitchfork there for the compost. A wheelbarrow, because I got to move all this out here. You know, there is a cost to it, okay? So that is one thing. What are some of the pros? It is labor intensive kind of at the start. The bags of dirt were heavy. You know, I got to get a wheelbarrow load of compost out here. I don't want to plant potatoes in where my animals are. Potatoes, the plants themselves can make your animals sick. So if you've got pigs, goats, that you don't want them eating them. So if you do put them in a pen with your animals, fence them in, okay? You don't want your animals eating green potatoes. There's a toxin in them that can make them sick. So I just keep them away. You know, I put them out here by my garden. So there is some labor involved in getting it out here. But once you do that, it's pretty much maintenance free. You're not going to have to weed this. You will have to water it. You want to make sure you get water, but it's not like the traditional method of digging a row, planting it, hilling it, and hilling it again, and then you got to dig them out of the ground. You got to weed a little bit. That part here, it's really, really simple. And once you get the fence and everything, the cost does go down. So, like I say, I'm kind of excited to try it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna finish putting these in, and if you do plant potatoes on Good Friday, leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you planted. Let me know how it came out. It is still just a little bit early. You don't want to plant potatoes so early that it frosts on the plant itself, okay? But speaking of Good Friday, one of the reasons behind it is when potatoes came to Ireland, the Irish were a little superstitious of them. And so they actually planted them on Good Friday, which is a religious holiday, out of superstition, and then they actually sprinkled their gardens with holy water. This is what I read. It's a story. I can't prove it, but I find it very, very humorous. So that's what it is. All right, well, you guys have a good evening. I gained another subscriber. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And, you know, it really does mean a lot to me. You know, it really does. So, all right, well, you guys have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later.